Who's running the back end? Some software engineer from Facebook.
No one binge watching Max. I think see, I never played any games. Friends. They die hard, like they have to do it's just like.
It's good morning. Go ahead and get started. Today we're going to talk about the basics of data visualization. So we'll talk about some of the core concepts and talk about some of the simple tools at our disposal. Simple is maybe the wrong word. You'll see why when we get there. Before we jump into new stuff, any questions on either stuff from earlier in the week or first homework? Yeah.
So, I don't know how many other people might run into this, but when you're like grouping stuff, Pandas comes up with like this series object, and then you try to change it back into a data frame so that you can actually part it. Or is that not the way to do that? I don't know.
I think it gives you a group by object, which is different from both of those things.
Right. There's a lot of objects that you could sit around in.
Yeah. So
how would you recommend? Because like you can do grouping and then you use like this aggregate function, pass a function into it so that you can do map on whatever it is. And then from there, it's like the data types are just kind of difficult to work with.
So a couple suggestions. So first off, when you're doing grouping, it defaults to grouping, applying the grouping function to the index of your data table. So when you read the CSV, by default, if you don't specify that one of the columns is an index, it'll just number the rows, and that'll be the index. And you can't really group by that, like it's just arbitrary integers. So one suggestion is to make sure that you set the index to be the date, because that's what you want to be doing all these group operations by. You can either do that when you load it, or there's also a set index method that can do that for you. The other suggestion for the box plot one, you can actually call a box plot on the data frame, and the box plot method takes a group by, it has like a parameter, an optional parameter for doing the grouping. So you can actually do the grouping in the box plot method as well. So that makes sense. So the rule of thumb here is for most of this plotting stuff, there is a magical one-line incantation that is pretty difficult to come up with, requires reading a bunch of documentation and just trying several options. If you find yourself writing more than probably 5 or 6 lines for most of this stuff, probably you're headed down a wrong direction. Which I find this to be pretty frustrating programming stuff, just because like it's not like a working from principles kind of thing. It's like, do you know the magic word kind of thing. So yeah, just reading lots of documentation is kind of the best advice I have for working with stuff generally.
Also, do you recommend that we use the Python or we use like C4 or other stuff?
We'll talk about that stuff today. You can use whatever you want.
Could you maybe lower the assignment and just say every integral section that we should be able to provide? Because it felt like this was pretty concise instructions. I don't want to miss anything.
Good. So
I thought the first part was something entirely.
So the first part is just using the built-in Python, the sampling and distribution, plotting a histogram. Do you have questions about that
Do
part?
it generally random,
Generate.
and what would be the size?
Do you want us to write our own mean function for standard deviation, or just write a function that uses like numpy.mean?
So these ones, write your own, just to practice writing Python stuff, and then use those for this part.
And then sampling data, is there any requirements for size?
No, and like what number you put in the n equals parameter doesn't really matter. Right? If you pick a smaller number, right, your histogram you expect to look different than if you pick a bigger number. Right? But no, it doesn't really matter how many samples you pick. And also, depending on your n, how close you get to what you expect for the mean and variance will be different. Okay. The second part. So yeah, here we're going to group by month. Here we'll group by hour. Here we'll use the box plot to get a little bit more context. So we'll be talking about those plotting things today, why we would choose them. But, yeah.